Calling to order the Seal and Branding Committee for November 26, 2024. Mark here. You will come up, we have a quorum. So you had a thought?
Yeah, just on the, well, when you go to the board with this,
Yeah.
the seal, the narrative we come up with, I wasn't sure who was initially drafting that, but sort of run it by everybody here, because it's almost something you could do ChatGPT just about.
No,
No.
we can't.
No, I mean, to get a basis.
No, we hate chat.
Absolutely cannot.
You had a thought?
What I would say is we need to discuss the narrative here, which is what I thought we had said at the last meeting. But
Yeah.
before going anywhere else, I think we really need to send that to town meeting members because it is a town meeting. It's within the discretion of town meeting what happens with the seal. It's up to them.
Okay.
So
It's a
and I
select
had
board
said that.
committee.
Okay, I
So-
understand that. It's just a letter letting them know that this is what is
Oh, I
happening.
agree. We're
Yeah,
gonna-
yeah, that's
we're
what,
gonna-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
We'll
do
bring them
you-
on board.
Does it go, he's asking, after we vet it, does it then go to the select board before it goes out to the town meeting? Is that what you're asking?
Okay, I would venture select board first for feedback before you give it to
I
you.
think we need to give notification to town meeting members that this is happening before it goes to the select board, because I think one of the
Oh.
issues that has come
Right.
up recently is people saying they don't know that something is being discussed.
Okay,
And then this way, no one can say
okay,
that they didn't know this was being discussed because they'll have notice that it's
Okay.
being discussed.
It just sounded like multiple layers, since like we're the, as we
We're the
architect it.
working,
Right, and then
Yeah.
when the, people in the meeting look at it, they get some of their input, and then we can curl that in, so, I mean, ideally, at the end, it's not it's a paragraph narrative and not like a report.
right.
It's simple, hey, it's simply doing this.
Would this be basically a survey
Hey, survey?
to?
No, no.
No, no,
Notification, notification.
Notification, okay,
it's just a notification, yeah,
right, just to town meeting members,
yeah,
I'm
just
ready.
a town meeting.
okay, all right, all right, so notification to town meeting members.
We were just saying that we had nothing else to do. We weren't busy at all in the last couple of weeks.
All right,
Now, we're preparing the signs, pro and con for the new, no.
The new seal. Yeah.
right, all right.
Everybody, yes vote means no in the seal.
David, you want to walk us through some?
Sure. So I sent out, when I sent everything out, I sent out round one just to sort of, there's a baseline where we were at from last time. And then you get round two. And this is what I was working from here. So I think the colonist is kind of what we were looking for, sort of more natural. I dug around for a while to work with different documents. The scrolled documents just looked really fake and weird, and I thought with the document here, he could be reading it or look, actually, I think it added to the narrative, which is nice, versus, again, two guys just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed the Native American gesturing. And I also, then I put a document
Is there just one?
in his hand roll.
Yeah,
Cause that seemed to make sense, just given him sort of that way his hand was and stuff. Then a few other things that I'm going to have to tell the illustrator, I couldn't really figure out how to work these across, or again, ask everybody's opinion. There's 3 Native Americans on the left-hand side, and which sitting pose do we like the most?
the middle one looks like there's Just wrong, something's wrong with his right leg.
Well, I mean, they'll fix stuff when it's, you know, they'll make it look right. I just didn't know. I kind of liked where it's leaning in a little bit.
Yeah.
I really like the top one. I like the one you picked.
Yes, I do too. I do too.
Okay,
Looks very relaxed.
Mhm.
yeah,
It,
which,
it looks like a conversation.
yep.
And so there's there's a kind of paper in each person's hand. One is scrolled and one is open.
Yep,
And what's the narrative there?
This is 1680, 1680. 1680. This is the Dedham deed. When,
So there are two copies of it. He has one and,
I guess we work in triplicate. Right,
Yeah,
basically
It's
that
just
they're
showing that there's a transaction of some kind.
And I think and I think we discussed, instead of just having one I mean, you could have one document like, hey, I drafted it. You wanna look at it, but having two sort of says that there's two thoughts going on. I think that
Uh-huh.
helps.
Or that there's agreement, they both,
Yeah.
it's like having two copies of a contract.
Yeah,
They're the same, by accepting them, you've agreed that that's the situation.
And then I'm going to also, you know, with the one I do have up there, there's a little bit end of the log. I'm gonna just have them continue the log, so it doesn't look like it was clean cut type of thing. And again, they'll make it look natural. I got it adjusted more where they're on the same plane as far as height goes. I think that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
And,
you put a more formal kind of outfit on the,
well, the outfits again could,
Get there.
every time you do this, it throws like a different outfit.
Yeah,
And
we
you
can tell
know,
the illustrator what we.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, you want the one in composite image there, the neckerchief and the jacket and the buckle shoes, not the tie, not the shoelaces and the 18th century brass button thing.
right.
Yeah.
That's good though.
okay, well, that's it. Well, it's funny, because I'm looking at one thing and then the other thing goes, you know?
Yeah, this outfit, this
The outfit on the left, but the
this
hat,
outfit better.
From the original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
from the earlier.
yeah.
Yep, I kind of like that too. I thought, well, I'll put this one in there. I also like that one because it's simpler.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the other one's just much, it's, a century later, it's just.
Yeah, okay, no, that's good. And on the Native American, I kept the same. I tried to use that same from the original because I think we liked what his attire was.
Right, the moccasins.
And
the
that
welcome
helps
bells.
out.
okay.
Oh, and you got a nice background.
Yeah, the other thing was the background, that I flipped in here. I'm gonna use the directive of, you know, I want some rolling hills and some foreground and background to the actual background. And then just also say not to make it look like it's a big pond.
Yeah.
I think, it's sort of the bottom right or bottom left
Yeah, it dissolves.
is a little bit more kind of what we want. So I'm just gonna sort of describe what that is. We want them sort of being, you know, on a
The river.
river. Yeah, I mean, the river could be going, you know,
Yeah, it's amazing how just that one part sticking out there
just helps
makes
out.
it look like there's bays and.
Right. So that's where I figured just to
Wow.
do that. So those were kind of all the little tiny details that I was working through.
One small detail, and it's maybe my eyesight, but when I first looked at it, I didn't happen to see the document that the Native American was holding, because it kind of, I looked at it, it was resting on his knee, and I didn't see that. It kind of merged into the breeches or whatever he's wearing.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it could, that it could be clear, a bit clearer that he's holding a document scrolled up.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
where it is, but that's a
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I mean,
A little
I
bit longer, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or the contrast between the background, it kind of, again, when I looked at it quickly, I didn't see it at first.
Yep. Part of that too is I'm just sort of found a scroll I kind of liked and
Jammed it in.
Jammed it, I twirled it and jammed it in, because they could put little shading on and stuff like that to make it a little more prominent.
More distinct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because certainly the settlers, that's very obvious.
that's obvious,
That's an
right.
easy one. And I just thought have the Native American holding the same, like another piece of paper, and then it's very paper
Right.
type of
right,
thing, and
yeah.
I didn't
Well,
want.
I think the scroll is a good thing, it just, I almost missed it.
Yeah.
First
Well, it's funny because
glance.
I had them both with scrolls at first, and then it looked like they're gonna start whacking each other.
More like batons or something.
Right, I was kind of like, all right, then it's like, what's this? And you could say, it was just a lot of interesting narratives where they could be discussing
Right.
this particular contract, or this could be the negotiations, or they, not to say this is the contract type of thing, but I think from where we started, when they were both standing next to each other, sort of like
Staring.
trying to
at
be
each other.
buddies, yeah, staring each other down. Just sitting and having a conversation, and now having a more pointed, conversation.
Transactional level.
Yeah, so I think we got everything working in there. It's funny to look at the old seal now, just as,
It looks so,
again, artistically, you could take any of these up and down the road and beat that, but I think narrative wise, I think we raised that level too, which is very nice.
The right arm clutching the document, there's weirdly
Since he shoved
proportioned.
the scroll over the arm, I mean.
Let's-
That'll
Yeah,
get fixed, right?
like a really high elbow and a long skinny forearm. or
that- yeah,
something. That's.
Well, what I did, it's the same person, so I found an arm.
Oh, there we go. All right, so this is just the wire.
It's very, when I say it's Frankenstein, it's very
All
Frankenstein.
right, all right. Our illustrator will do that. Okay.
Now, if the illustrator comes back, it's like, oh, it's left arms, Well, that's why you had it. It's like, oh.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the last slide?
Yeah, sure. That's just sort of the before and afters. Round one on the left, round two on the
Yeah.
right.
Oh, what's? In the revised, what is to the lower left by his leg, behind his leg?
Right there?
Yeah. Is that just
Well,
a
that's-
fragment?
That was because there was another figure there that I had to get rid of,
Okay,
and I just tried to fake a lot.
okay, all right.
It's a lot of faking going on. But I think, it'll give them, sense of proportion and everything. I'm gonna also give the directive, I sort of like the left-hand side. It's a little bit more simplistic. It's got a little bit more white in it type of thing, anything like that, like I'm trying to. It's one of those, how much detail can I take out, but still have this sort of loose style.
How long will it take it? Do you have an illustrator?
I don't, I'm gonna start looking around.
How long, when do you think we could have a draft?
We'll probably find somebody in a week or two, I think,
It's
like,
Thanksgiving.
yeah. Well, no, I mean, well, I can research and reach out to a couple of people, so I'll probably reach out with, to see, hey, we're looking to do this type of thing. And sort of get some reactions, and
How long does it take an illustrator to?
that I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'll ask, do we have a certain date?
If we want to put this, I mean, we don't use the description to put it on the warrant, but we don't want to close the warrant until we've sent a note out to everybody saying we're studying the seal and here's what it sort of draft looks like, so.
Right.
so that would be by what date that you said?
I mean, we'd have to look at something and think it's okay to send out by the end of January.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's, I would
Mid-January.
think that's, I'd like to have somebody selected by the second week of December.
me too.
Like, pretty quick, and then
Take-
sort of say, hey, because I can't imagine, unless they're really blocked up or something, but sort of like, hey, we're looking for a sketch that we can show for approvals type of
Right.
thing, based on this, and again, I can go over all the particular elements, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
and then time
the
for
wording,
revisions, packing time for revisions, so we might be by January.
It's not the be all and all, but we've been working at it for a year, so it would be nice if we could bring it.
Yeah, I think once you get there, I mean, this, we're doing all the hard work. I would think in this from like the rounds and stuff, so
Right.
when we give to him, it's just a matter of sort of like a style or, you know, I don't even know. I don't know what I would say.
So when you're going to hire somebody, you give those dates, and if they can't meet those dates, then,
Well, or I'll say this and say, hey, what's your typical turnaround? When could you have something like this back? You know, and if he said March, then I'd be like, sorry. I also don't expect it, you know, the next day type of thing, but, you know. And also has budget, so I'll see where that. Okay.
Amy, had you heard from Amber about whether she's coming?
She said she was going to try to join us late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, any other thoughts? Okay. Find an illustrator.
Anything else, Ed?
And then we'll meet,
Once we hear back with an estimate of the time,
yeah, yes,
try to meet December if we can. If we can't, we'll meet January.
so we won't make a date now, but we'll just check the emails.
And then we need to look over what you write up for the narrative.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Just about time to adjourn. So we're
Yeah.
sorry.
I was just,
They were very productive.
any thoughts?
I mean, I'm sure this is, the only thing I saw was that just the line in the lower left.
Yeah, that's someone's fault.
And then,
That's
the newspaper has two ends, which you wouldn't see, but obviously that's another, right? Or the, not newspaper, the.
Oh,
roll.
the scroll.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's clutching it so hard.
Yeah,
yeah, it's going immediately.
Squeeze
Not
it.
happening.
Looks like it could be a big burrito.
That's right, it's a big-
The next thing is for, David will hire an illustrator and give us.
Yeah, that's what I figured, that was the picture.
Okay. I want to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, we're adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Have an extra one of the color on it.